Well, Ethan back for a review, not a beer review, but an album review. Another one from Uriah Heep. This is Very Eavy, Very Umble, released in the UK in 1970, June the 19th, on Vertigo Records in the UK and Mercury Records in the US. This is their debut record. I reviewed Demons and Wizards a couple days ago, which is their fourth, so back-to-back Uriah Heep reviews. I've been on a huge Uriah Heep kick, really getting into him. I've been listening to him now for probably 3-4 months, pretty regularly. Check out that album cover. Very creepy, bizarre album cover, face with the cobwebs on it. And this is probably one of their heaviest albums. It's a very heavy blues rock with some progressive elements for sure. The band consisted of, at this time, the lineup was a little different than it was on the other one I reviewed, Demons and Wizards. David Byron on vocals, Ken Hensley, who was a founding member, on piano and organ, the Hammond organ, and also some slide guitar. You got Mick Box on guitar, the only original member still in the band to this day, actually. Paul Newton on bass and Alex Napier on drums. Paul Newton and Alex Napier, the rhythm section would go on to, they would only last for a few more albums after this, and then by Demons and Wizards there was a new rhythm section on bass and drums. It was released in the United States in August of 1970, so a few months after, and this is the UK cover, which I prefer much more. Let me show you the US cover. It's different. That is the US album cover. It's like a dragon snake monster thing. I prefer this one for sure. It's got the kind of ominous, creepy hands on the back. The track listing is as follows. First track to kick it off is Gypsy, which is a fantastic hard rock song. You got elements of blues in there. You got the wailing operatic vocals of David Byron, a fantastic underrated frontman and singer. I've mentioned before in my last review that Uriah Heep reminds me a little bit of Deep Purple, and they are similar. I would describe it this way. Ian Gillan, the lead singer of Deep Purple, his singing style was more of a shriek, right? I would say David Byron's is similar, but instead of a shriek, it's more of a operatic wail, so to speak. Maybe not quite as aggressive and more flamboyant and theatrical, if you will. That's how I would describe the difference between those two bands and singers, frontmen. Gypsy's a fantastic song to kick it off. It's heavy, it's fast, it's bluesy, it just has a lot of muscle and power. Great start to an album. The second track is Walking in Your Shadow, another strong song. It has a nice riff that carries it, a Hammond organ riff, and a great guitar riff, a fat heavy riff that carries the song, and you got fantastic vocals from David Byron. On all these songs, David Byron sounds fantastic. And then you have Come Away Melinda, which is a moodier, mellower song. It's a beautiful song, really. Kind of tranquil, moody, progressive. Even almost folky. They would have more folky songs on the next album, Salisbury, but some of these songs almost have a sort of a folk element, because you got the real heavy and then the real kind of lighter, folky, progressive stuff, which is real cool to have both. And then you have number 4, Lucy Blues, which is sort of a straight-up blues rocker song, really good. The 5th track, Dream Air, really good, heavy song. Then you have number 6, Real Turned On, a nice kind of boogie rocker, straightforward. Just a great rock song, heavy, bluesy, great vocals from David Byron. Again, there's not a weak point on this whole album to me, and especially the vocals. Excellent. And the heavy organ, it complements his vocal style so well. Number 7, I'll Keep On Trying, another great song. And then the last track, Wake Up, Set Your Sights, which is a longer track, sort of more progressive. They would generally have a longer track, and usually it was the last track on the majority of their albums. And this one is no exception. And worthy to note, the US version of this album, let me go ahead and put that back in there, has the bonus track Bird of Prey, which in the UK release was on their next album, Salisbury. And that is probably my favorite Uriah Heep song, Bird of Prey. Fantastically heavy, shrieking vocals from David Byron, great Hammond organ riff, just heavy rock, heavy blues rock. I wouldn't label this band metal. Proto metal, sure. The foundation of what would later become heavy metal, sure. But to call them a metal band, they were not. They were progressive rock, hard rock, blues rock for the most part. Again, Bird of Prey on the US release, so it is on this one, Bird of Prey, right there. Probably my favorite Uriah Heep song, so it being on this as a bonus track makes this my favorite Uriah Heep album, their debut. On the UK release, it's on Salisbury. With it being on Salisbury, it makes it that my favorite album. This one and the second one, Salisbury, two favorite Uriah Heep albums, probably. It varies on the day, but consistently I would say they're the most top to bottom, strongest albums. They're the heaviest, really. And Bird of Prey is a fantastic song. Check it out. Bonus track on this one, and then it was released originally on the second album, as I mentioned. The name of the band actually comes from Uriah Heep. The Charles Dickens character in David Copperfield, a book about that thick that I read in like 11th grade, and they have movie versions of it as well. He was a sort of a shady, sycophantic character in that book. He's a kind of a famous literary figure, and I believe the founding members, Mick Box and Ken Hensley, of this band, guitar and organ respectively, they got the influence of the name from that particular character, Uriah Heep. And then of course, in the Bible you have Uriah the Hittite. Charles Dickens may have been influenced by that name for his classic novel David Copperfield. Who knows? That's just speculation. But great album. I highly recommend it. Check it out. Get it. If you don't know about Uriah Heep, I highly recommend you check these guys out. And if you know about them, that's great. You love them like I do. If you don't like rock music in general, that's fine. Don't watch the video. Don't listen to them. But if you like rock music, 70s classic rock, bluesy, progressive rock, and even proto heavy metal, check these guys out. They were definitely underrated contemporaries of Deep Purple, Black Sabbath, and Led Zeppelin. Maybe not quite as groundbreaking as those three bands, but they could go toe to toe with those three bands. For me personally, they had such an influence on progressive rock and hard rock in general, and a band from England like them. So just you got to consider these guys when you have that conversation about Deep Purple, Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin. These guys should be an honorable mention in that list, in my opinion. For a score, this gets a 95 out of 100. I think I scored Rainbow Demon, or not Rainbow Demon, Demons, that's the song. Demons and Wizards, 92. This gets a 95. I'll give it 3 points higher. It's fantastic. Probably my favorite one. It is my favorite with Bird of Prey on there. Excellent debut from a band that actually took them almost a year to record this album. They started recording in 1969 actually, and didn't release it until June of the following year. So it was like a 9-month, almost a year recording time to put this album together. And they even mention in the sleeve of the CD, Ken Hensley mentions how putting this together was hectic and chaotic, and they had a lot of session drummers come in and fill in for some songs before they kind of got like a consistent drummer. I don't know if they had issues with the drumming, but it doesn't matter because it's a fantastic album to me. I highly recommend it. Check out Very Eavy, Very Umble from Uriah Heep, their debut record. That'll do it for this album review. Thank you for watching.